Hey guys, I'm coming to you one more time from inside the new studio that we're working on. Kind of at a little delay right now. We've got some doors that are ordered and whatnot, so waiting on that. So again, the unfinished look, that's what the reason for that. But nevertheless, I did not want to put off communicating the intent of this new bill by the federal government. Ms. Watson-Coleman has introduced a bill that where they're actually at least being honest about it now. Many times these people try to float these bills out there that are some kind of, I guess, underhanded infringement, and they name it something really cushy like the I'm going to keep people safe act, or children will no longer die act, something stupid that tugs on heartstrings. At least they named this one right. The working title right now is called the Handgun Licensing and Registration Act of 2021. That's what these people have always been after. They've always wanted registration. You can't have confiscation without registration. You have to know where the guns are to know to go get them, or to actually know what person is breaking the law by possessing a gun. By registering those, you are giving them a database, an active database, where they're actually going to be able to locate where everything is at any given time. Oh, except those in the bad parts of town that are stolen and being used in crimes. Let me make this very clear. This bill does not apply to criminals. This bill does not apply to criminals. The bill states that the Attorney General of the United States shall establish a federal system for the licensing and registration of all handguns owned, possessed, or controlled in the United States. A person shall not be eligible to receive such a license if the person has not attained the age of 21 years old. We're going to put an M4, M16, whatever, into these young men's hands. They're going to go overseas at 18, 19, 20 years of age. They are going to do the United States' bidding overseas in countries that don't have a constitution or do not have a Second Amendment that defends our right to keep and bear arms. However, they will come back home under the age of 21 and no longer be able to possess a simple handgun, or possess, purchase, whatever, a handgun of any kind, because they're not old enough. They go to a country with no Second Amendment, can handle, possess, whatever. They come home to a country with a Second Amendment and cannot do the same. You will also not be eligible if you are not a citizen, national, or lawful permanent resident of the United States. This little part kind of perplexes me a little bit. The federal government, the same people who hate guns and hate the Second Amendment and truly do want to disarm honest, law-abiding gun owners in America, are the same people who want open borders. The same people who don't want to use the term illegal alien even though it applies. These are people who want to basically allow anyone who wants to come into the country to be a lawful American citizen, of course, so they can vote. That's obviously the intent of it. But they won't let them have a handgun. That kind of surprises me. Maybe that's their way of getting some of these rhinos and these fake Republicans to actually support a bill like this by doing that. That's the only reason why I can really justify in my own mind why they include this, because it is left as that part is. This is not left enough, in my opinion, for those that are on the left, which actually may balk at this. You will also not be eligible if you have not submitted to a background investigation and criminal history check of the person. I love the way they say that you have to submit. Submission is the key, right? That's what it's always been, submission. But yeah, there will be an additional background check and criminal background check on you, regardless of whether or not you're purchasing a gun. Let's remember, honest, law-abiding gun owners are the ones that are filling out background checks to purchase firearms. This doesn't apply to criminals. You will also have to submit fingerprints and a recent photograph. What that tells me is you at some point are going to be issued what essentially looks like a permission slip in the form of an ID card. Possessing firearms is a right. They are going to mandate an ID card for a right, but they won't mandate an ID card to vote. There's going to be training involved also. That's right. They are going to mandate training. Now, this license is not going to be a lifetime license. Yes, you are going to have to pay for your license every 5 years. You're going to have to re-up, resubmit, and reapply with that background check for it. Again, this does not apply to criminals because criminals will never go through this process. Ever. Ever. Now, it states that there shall include a method for easily retrieving information sufficient to identify, and it goes on to talk about the residents. This is a computer database. There will be an accessible computer database that essentially anyone with any access to any law enforcement computer, PC, whichever, they will have access to this database, because they're making explicitly clear that they want an easily accessible database. What easier way to have a database is to throw everything out there in the cloud so that anyone who wants to easily access it can access it. Now, if you are in one of the communist states in the United States already, and you already have this form of registration, probably like the state of California. I'll have to check with my friend, the Armed Scholar. He's an attorney that lives in California and does a lot of really good videos. I'll check with him, but I think California may have a law pretty restrictive like this already. So the federal government is not going to mandate that the states redo this all over again. Oh, you wonder why the states are having to do it? Well, mainly because it's unconstitutional, and this will have to be done via a grant program. That's right. The federal government will not be actually implementing their own federal program like this, because they know that it's unconstitutional and they can't actually pull that off. So what they're going to do is take your money, your taxpayer dollars, and bribe these states to make these states implement their own programs that the federal government approves of, because then the federal government sidesteps any responsibility with the Second Amendment and violating your constitutional rights. Guys, I just want to make this clear. And this is kind of a public service announcement. This does not apply to criminals. Criminals, you guys are good. You guys are fine. Don't worry about this. Don't stress over this. If you are a criminal on the street using a gun for bad purposes, to commit crimes, to murder people, to rob people, for whatever reason, if you are a criminal, please disregard everything that I said in this video, because not one word of this is applicable to you.